Cincinnati, Ohio, a landmark case. Krista Diaz versus the Archdiocese of Cincinnati. Ms. Diaz was fired in 2010 from her job as technology coordinator for Holy Family and St. Lawrence Catholic Schools after she became pregnant through artificial insemination. The church had said it was for violating a contract that requires her to follow church teachings. On Monday, June 3, 2013, a jury concluded that the Catholic Archdiocese of Cincinnati violated anti-discrimination laws, ruling that the diocese pay Ms. Diaz $171,000 in damages. The diocese maintains that it has the right to operate according to Catholic moral teaching, and that this case was a matter of an employee who broke a contract. This is just another battle in the culture war. The church was not discriminating against this woman. She signed a contract when she took the job, agreeing to uphold church teaching. Artificial insemination is against church teaching. The church has every right to oppose in vitro fertilization as morally wrong. During artificial insemination, bundles of embryos are created outside the womb by injecting sperm into the mother's eggs. Then the fertilized eggs are implanted back into the mother. Scientifically, there is no longer any doubt as to when life begins. When the sperm penetrates the egg, well, that's when the miracle happens. The DNA, the blueprint for life, all the programming that is required for a new, unique human being is conceived. That is why we call it conception. That's when life begins. So if you make conception happen, and in the case of in vitro you make a bunch of conceptions happen, then what you get is a bunch of new human beings. And then in the process of trying to get one of these new people to grow in the mother's womb, most of them die. It's not hard to understand the church's position on this. Guess what? Someone politely informed me that I made a mistake. And she called me Dear Christian. It seems that Ms. Diaz didn't get pregnant through in vitro fertilization. She got pregnant through artificial insemination. And these two procedures are really quite different from each other. You see, in vitro fertilization, they make conception happen outside the mother's body. And in artificial insemination, they try to make conception happen inside the woman's body. So they are very different. But nonetheless, it doesn't change my point much because the church doesn't approve of artificial insemination either. They see that as being like creating a baby outside the marital embrace. That being said, the mistake that I made about how Ms. Diaz got pregnant doesn't make anything I said about in vitro fertilization untrue. Everything I said about it is true. And artificial insemination is also against Catholic moral teaching. Why do you suppose it's called artificial insemination? Maybe it's not natural? Now, the church has the right to hold this view on artificial insemination, and they have the right to put it in their employment contracts that the employee shall not violate church doctrine on moral behavior. Whether you agree with church teaching or not is beside the point. If she didn't agree with the contract, Ms. Diaz shouldn't have taken the job. She got fired when she broke the promise she made when she signed the contract. Clearly, this is a matter of breach of contract. Ms. Diaz and her attorneys are using this opportunity to attack the Catholic Church and also to score some big cash. Now, the diocese has a right to appeal the decision, although at this time they have not stated an intent to appeal this. I sure hope they do. All the way to the Supreme Court if necessary.
This has been a Sunfish production.